Hello, everybody. This is Reverend Bill Ryan, and this is the evening of December 17th. Christmas is just about a week away. Um, before we get started, uh, I want to wish Christina Aguilera a birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday to Christina Aguilera. Not that I think for a second she'd watch this. I happen just to remember that from years ago. I used to have a crush on her back, geez, I don't know, when she was still young, and her birthday was dated with me. So, anyway, today I would like to discuss something the White House does not want to discuss. I've actually been debating about talking about this for a while, but it just seemed like I don't know. I wanted to see where it was going to go, and I think it's evident now it's not going to go anywhere. Um, but this is going to be about the drones that are taking over the skies. New Jersey, I guess they went over and impeded the JFK airport a little bit. And I think there's even some sightings maybe in Boston, my old stomping grounds. I don't know. But no one seems to know anything about them. I got my buddy back here because there's some thoughts that maybe they're UFOs, and if so, I'm sure this guy's actually flying them, coming to invade. But anyway, in all seriousness, the White House just isn't doing or saying much at all. It makes me very, very happy to say that Joe Biden was not the president during the attack on Pearl Harbor. He'd still be standing out there looking up, going, "Well, we're not sure what they are or what they do. We're not sure they're hostiles or not. We don't know." But anyway, I'm sure we all know the story, but just in case, since I think the 18th of November, there's been a growing number of drones covering the New Jersey sky in certain areas. And anyway, the White House seems to ignore them, doesn't care, won't comment except giving some loose ideas that maybe we're not in trouble, but pretty much been pretty tight-lipped about the whole thing. But anyway, I did some research, and I want to make sure that I'm fair here. So give the New York Post a little bit of credit. I did use them as a reference point. But it's coming down that he's either lying, Biden, or he's just more incompetent than we thought. And that's a pretty tall order. But I did look into it in the New York Post. And what I've come down to is that the FBI has received more than 5,000 reports of drones that are flying over their airspace in northeastern U.S. And I mentioned this since November 18th. They breached military airspace. The agency, FBI, said about 100 of those warranted further investigations. I don't know why only 100. I expect maybe some of them were repeats. I know a lot of them are trying to dismiss these as being false reports, but it's pretty evident they're out there. Everyone knows that they're out there. The New Jersey mayor said last Tuesday that the troubling drones taking over the state may be linked to some radioactive material that is missing. That's nice to know. Although the federal officials say that the amount that's missing is no serious threat, I wouldn't know how much radioactive material is a threat or is not a threat. I wouldn't want to be a judge of that. The Bellevue mayor, Michael Melham, I guess, said the drones fly in a grid-like pattern over Essex County Township, and they appear to be looking for something. So the idea, I guess, the ongoing consensus, which is not confirmed by the White House, is that something's missing and they're frantically looking for it. What they're looking for could be radioactive. There was a shipment that arrived at the destination, and the shipment had a container that was damaged. And when it got there, it was empty. It was a piece of medical equipment that was used for cancer scans that was lost in transit. Well, this begs so many questions. So there's a piece of equipment that is obviously very important, that is used for cancer scans, that has radioactive material, and it gets damaged and lost in transit and arrives empty, and no one knows anything about it. I mean, when you order something from Amazon, okay, it's usually easy to find. You can pretty much track where it goes missing, but they can't seem to track radioactive equipment and medical equipment lost in transit. But they can tell you it happened December 2nd. So if it happened December 2nd, why did the drones get out there on the 18th of November? So maybe it's just another incident that happened. Maybe something else got lost in transit on the 18th. I mean, there's a lot of questions here that have to be answered. But it was being shipped from the Nazha, that's Nazha, Cancer Center in Newfield, Gloucester County in southern New Jersey. So if it was lost in transit December 2nd, why were they having drones out there November 18th? That doesn't add up. The radiation source is deemed then less than a category 3 on the International Atomic Energy Scale. Maybe the medical equipment is, but maybe that's not really what they're looking for. Maybe it's a red herring. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. It is very unlikely to cause permanent injury to the individuals or contain a very small amount of radioactivity material that would not cause any permanent injury. Again, are we talking about the stuff that was missing from December 2nd? That might be true. Although it's still alarming because it's radioactive material. But then why were they out there 2 weeks beforehand looking for something? Anyway, John Ferguson, who is CEO of a remote aircraft system company in Kansas, who claimed in a video viewed nearly 3 million times, that's X, that'll do it for you, the drones are trying to smell a gas leak, radioactive material, or something else. Okay, so there's something else they could possibly be doing, which is the gas leak. That might explain why they're out there before the missing. They could do two things, right? I mean, there's a gas leak that came out around the 18th. They can do that, and they can go out there and they can look for other missing radioactive material that might be lost in the meantime. we just lose and leak gas everywhere around New Jersey, I guess. The only reason why you would ever fly an unmanned aircraft at night is if you're looking for something. And my understanding is that's when they pretty much all take off, is at night, and riding in that grid fashion, looking for something. Joe Rogan, I guess he talked to Ferguson, and he came out saying that he was very concerned. I'm not sure if that really adds much to our story, but he carries a lot of weight in the talk world, and I guess he's officially worried. The Biden administration has repeatedly downplayed the situation. And I tell you, where's Biden? I mean, occasionally I see the guy, eating an ice cream on his vacation. No one's seen him since he was removed from the ticket. And then Kamala is playing the shell game. For the first, 2 months, she was on the ticket. No one saw her. And then for the last month, she came out and she was just repeating the same nonsense over and over again on very cherry-picked shows. so that no one asked her if anything of consequence. And then when she lost the election in a landslide, an election, by the way, well, first of all, let me be very clear. I am very, very happy she lost the election. I couldn't be happier. But in all fairness, I think she could have won it had she used her common sense. I think that, one of the things that she doesn't listen to her staff. She doesn't take chances. I think it was a winnable election. Thank God she didn't do what she was supposed to do, and Trump won easily. But I think since she embarrassed herself, she disappeared. So now, who's running the White House? Hunter? I don't know. But at this time, we've got a bunch of drones running around, flying around our airspace, and no one seems to know what they are. It'd be kind of nice to hear someone, I don't know, runs a country giving an opinion. Actually, I'm not even sure I heard the press secretary say anything on this. I'm sure she must have. I haven't heard it, though. Something to look up maybe later on. John Kirby, White House National Secretary. No, sorry, let me rephrase that. White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby has said the drones are not a public safety concern, and that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircrafts. Yeah, but who's manning them? This guy back here? Is he manning them? The Department of Homeland Security and the FBI announced Monday that they are belatedly deploying drone detection technology and infrared cameras to determine what, if any, threat the unidentified flying objects pose. Okay, so it's now the 17th, and the drones have been up there since the 18th. So, for all intents and purposes, a month. And now they're deploying drone detection technology and infrared cameras to determine what, if any, threat the flying objects pose. But let's not rush to it. Let's take our time, make sure we do it right. So at this time, the White House official stance is that they don't know what they are and what threat they pose. And they've been in the air for a month. Okay, this makes me go back to my original statement, not the Christina Aguilera birthday thing, but I'm glad Biden was not in charge of, Pearl Harbor. And I really hope that they're lying, because if they don't really know what they are, letting these drones in our airspace and interrupt, flights at JFK without investigating them more is extremely incompetent, even by these guys. I mean, I don't know. I grew up watching the Three Stooges, and I would imagine most of you know who the Three Stooges are, at least if you're, over the age of, 35 maybe? I don't even know anymore. We grew up in the Three Stooges. But I'm going to miss these guys when they leave the White House. I mean, to be honest with you, I hate them. I vehemently really rooted against them from the day one. Never wanted them in the White House. But they've just given me so much fodder, like the Three Stooges in the White House. I mean, all you got to do is, like, if you need material for something like a podcast, just open up the newspaper and just, or the online newspaper, and just look for something about the White House. I mean, they give you just so much stuff. It's like watching Curly and Moe. You don't have to wait long. They do something stupid or say something stupid. So I'm going to miss it when we get, a good leadership back in the White House. I mean, this would never happen with Donald Trump. Absolutely not. Anyway, getting back to my points here, maybe we could get the Three Stooges in the White House. They're only kind of dead now, aren't they? Well, who knows? We get someone else in there. Michael B., the CEO and host of Terra Talk podcast, decided to personally investigate the strange phenomenon to try to find some of the answers that the federal government has been unable to provide. When he saw a drone around Picatinny, I guess it's Picatinny, Arsenal in Morris County, his drone lost power because as he entered flight space that was restricted by the FAA, it lost power and fell down, collapsed. Okay, so yeah, so he saw a drone around Picatinny Arsenal in Morris County. He sent his drone up to investigate. And when it came over restricted airspace, it did what it was supposed to do. And that some kind of defense measure occurred and it lost power and just boom, fell down. Yet the drones do not. They're actually get into the restricted airspace. He said that while the drone went down due to restricted flight space, the mystery drone that he was trying to reach retained its ability to fly. This means that either the drones are ours and they've been given the ability to avoid the defenses, or they're hostile and they know how to get around our defenses. So I'm beginning to think the former. I think they're ours and they've lost something and they just are looking for it and don't want to tell the truth. That's what it looks like to me from my very uninformed opinion. John Kirby told reporters on Monday that the drones zipping all over New Jersey residents' homes are a combination of personal, professional, and government aircraft. So now they're trying to say, well, there's a whole bunch of mix up there. It just looks like they're all the same thing, but they're not. They're a myriad of different things. There's birds up there too, I'm sure, with flashlights on their head. There's a bunch of stuff. People are not stupid. He said that he absolutely believes that the unidentified flying drones in the restricted airspace may possess a new technology that allows them to bypass security to keep them from being jammed. Well, look, aren't you Einstein? Of course they do, because they're not going down. Mr. Obvious. Okay, let me read that again. He absolutely believes that the unidentified drones that are flying around in the restricted airspace may possess new technology that allows them to bypass FAA security. Brilliant deduction. We assess that the sightings to date include a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, and law enforcement drones, as well as manned fixed wing aircraft, helicopters, and even stars that were mistakenly reported as drones. So this is, throw everything at the wall. And the birds with full flashlights on their heads, and okay. So it's not, it's just everyone thinks the same thing. And what happened to the restricted airspace? What, the hobbyist drones go through commercial airspace? I don't know about the law enforcement drones. I would imagine they don't have the capability. Fixed wing aircraft, I don't know what they're talking about there. Helicopters, I wouldn't think helicopters would have the capability to override defenses. Whatever, this is just nonsense. Again, it's throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. We have not identified anything anomalous. Hope Biden's not going to be reading that. He'll need someone to translate that to odd, three letters, odd, nothing odd. Oh, you'll understand that one. Or national security or public safety risk over the civilian airspace in New Jersey or other states in the Northeast. The work continues. You can't continue something you're not doing. Yeah, so you got to start the work before you continue the work. And for what I'm seeing, I don't see much work. I see a lot of gobbledygook. In September of last year, the FAA relaxed its restriction on certain drones being flown at night, which Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas speculated may have fueled some of the uproar. Yeah, but it wouldn't explain how they get into the restricted airspace. Whatever. That may be one of the reasons why now people are seeing more drones than they did before, especially from dawn to dusk. Mayorkas told ABC. Okay. I want to assure the American public that we are on it. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's take a step back. On it? Am I the only one that sees? What are you on? Is it you got stuff in the air? Go find out what it is. If it's if it's allowed in your airspace, come out and tell us. Oh, well, yeah, it's ours. We're scouring for something. Even if you say it's confidential, we can't tell you what we're looking for. But it's us we're looking for. Go back to bed. That's fine. It's not ours. We're investigating. Come back tomorrow. We'll let you know. We'll give you an update. That's fine. We're on it. I mean, they're in our air. I mean, how difficult is this? We're on it. Just go up and take a look and find out what it is. As Trump said, shoot it down. What's the big deal? Anyway, Senate Majority Leader, our friend Chuck Schumer, announced plans Monday to push for legislation that would provide more resources and authorities to address the situation. Now they want to push for legislation because it's just going to take so long to fly something up there and find out what it is. Let's get legislation. Let's get bureaucracy involved. The reports of the past few weeks have ignited immense anxiety and confusion for millions of people living across the Northeast. Thankfully, there's no reason to believe that these drone sightings pose a national security threat. Go up there and take a look at them. Shoot one down and take a look at them. Take a look at them. What are they? Get some binoculars out. Is it really that difficult? But even so, they can be disruptive if they fly over restricted airspace, like airports or bases. In the meantime, I urge DHS to take all necessary action to deploy as many drone detecting resources as possible. Both chambers are scheduled to break for the holiday season, of course, at the end of the week. I was waiting for Biden to say that he was going to go on vacation. He'll deal with it when he gets back. President-elect Donald Trump, who's called for the shooting down of the drones, common sense, claims that the government knows what is happening. For some reason, they don't want to comment. This is Donald Trump, our president-elect. For some reason, they don't want to comment, and I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows. Our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense, Trump, 78, said during his Monday press conference at Mar-a-Lago. I can't imagine it's the enemy because it was the enemy that blasted. Because if it was the enemy that blasted, I apologize. But when he was asked about a comment about whether he has any information, he declined to comment. So I'm of the inclination that they probably told him under the condition he can't say anything, which I kind of understand that why he would keep his word. But if he didn't know what it was and he thought we were in danger, there's no doubt in my mind he'd be putting up a louder protest. He'd be going nuts, screaming. So he must know what it is, and he must know we're not in any danger. He just can't, he can't put our minds at ease because he probably promised the Three Stooges in the White House that he would not give it away. But anyway, that's pretty much it for that. And so if you like, this podcast, I would like you to like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like it, well, thanks for listening anyway. And I hope to see you again soon. This is Reverend Bill saying, have a great night. Hopefully I'll talk to you tomorrow.